Also, I was just thinking about Chris's voice actor in this episode. It finally hit me that, like, it's a different guy, but the way he, like, his tone, the way he says everything it's very on point with, like, how the original actor was.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I think this episode specifically, he did a good job.
For whatever reason, like, when he was explaining this challenge and, like, pretending to be nice, I was like, this is Chris. Like, it's a different guy, but it's still Chris, and they'll put him in Fortnite later.
God, I hope. He can fight Optimus Prime.
Okay, welcome back to Total Drama Episode 9. It has been maybe like 3 weeks since we have been able to watch an episode, given that we're watching this via the early release episodes.
Early access. We call them early access.
Yeah, because we're so special. The creators gave us... No, I probably shouldn't say that. We probably get in trouble for saying that. But yeah, so if we like have forgotten details or anything, I apologize in advance. But I mean, I don't know. There's like a recap. Like we're fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this episode maybe is the best one of this season so far. It really played along with all the Survivor elements while also being over the top and total drama-y. Like, I don't know, maybe it just appealed to me specifically, but I really liked all of the alliance talk and everything.
I would have to like look back to like compare. Like, it's weird to pick a best episode from a show like this, but I think this was definitely like really perfectly silly while also being like serious, because I mean, like, it's the first time they're really establishing alliances, and it's like, all right, that's the drama, but then like it becomes a gimmick of Z being like an idiot and thinking that he's gonna help everybody by just being in both. Like, it's a great joke, and I think he got a really great spotlight on this episode. Kind of becomes clear, like, okay, I guess he'll be the one who's voted off because he's like talking a lot. But I think the way that they went about it made it seem not too obvious, and like it just felt very like complete for his character. Like, it's not like something like, say, like an episode 3 elimination where you're like, oh, okay, like they're gone so fast. Like, I feel like this episode gave the most of him that we would want, and then he's gonna leave, and then we won't feel like we really missed anything that he could have done.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I'm surprised that he was eliminated this episode. I figured that he was going to stay through the elimination, and then the team that he betrayed was going to go, whoa, what's up with that? Why is that happening? And then next week was going to be his departure episode.
I mean, it's an interesting, like, letting them re-vote.
I was interested in that as well.
It's just funny to me. Like, maybe it can be seen like that's kind of a blatant writing thing, because they're like, we got to get rid of Z right now. But I mean, I didn't mind it. I thought that was funny.
I wouldn't have minded if maybe we got a vote or two, or at least got to see it, so then that would cause tension between whoever got votes.
It makes little sense that, like, I gotta stop saying like. When I was editing our other episodes, I say like a million times. It's unbearable. But anyways, maybe they could have just had him say it before they did any voting. Like, I don't know. That's
what I assumed happened. And then when Bowie was like, can we re-vote? I was like, oh, this is a little later than I thought it was at Tribal Council.
It just like it just like barely matters at the end of the day, I guess, but it does just seem a little weird. I think it would take a certain different circumstance for them to vote Chris off, but I feel like that would be a funny a funny gimmick that could happen.
I guess at the end of the day, Z did combine both teams into a super team.
Yeah,
it just happened to be that it was against him.
Yeah.
Also, I'm shocked that Julia made it through again. Like, I really thought that after she rang the bell and got hit with every single obstacle, I was like, she's gonna be medevaced. Sad day. But I'm glad that she stayed.
I know you were like saying that in the middle of the episode, like, oh no, she's gonna be taken away. But I don't know. I don't know if it's because they already did that or what. But I was just like, she's the villain. I don't think they'll take her away. So like, I'm glad that they didn't. But back to her, I think the sort of pacing on like who's gonna win this challenge was really good, because there kept being instances where someone was really close. Like even Chase like being launched, and you're like, oh, he's just gonna get a free win after.
Yeah, you think that he's gonna land on the bell.
Yeah, but then he doesn't. That's great.
And then Emma goes through the volcano. or the honey.
And then it's neck and neck with Julia and Bowie, but then they start fighting, and it's like, oh, wait, Z's gonna get it? That'll be cool. But then Z's like a trooper, and he saves them, but then they betray him, and it's like, you know, there's so many things at play there that just made it pretty unpredictable and fun.
Yeah, it really reminded me of the World Tour finale, which I know I said during the episode. And considering that's like maybe my favorite episode of the show, good vibes to recall.
I feel like the final 3 episode there was really good too. No, I can't. You know, we would have to look back on it, which I'm sure we probably will eventually. But yeah, I mean, there's the aspect of this just being like on a volcano too, I guess. So,
yeah, they're on a volcano. They're like fighting. One of them falls in.
Very dramatically. They love their Lord of the Rings falling into a volcano reference.
As someone who likes the World Tour finale more than any Lord of the Rings media, and I think Lord of the Rings is... I think that Lord of the Rings as a franchise is worth it existing solely for the total drama references.
All right, well...
I'll say it.
You heard it here first, folks. Mikkel hates Lord of the Rings and also hates Dungeons & Dragons, but we don't have to get into...
I don't hate Dungeons & Dragons, because at least the movie's good. Lord of the Rings...
Listen, I never finished any of the movies, but I liked
it. That's the issue.
I have fallen asleep maybe the 4 times I have tried to watch the first movie, which is weird because I do like it. I do think it's a very good movie. It's like, I act like I don't like fantasy stuff, but something about the way that movie presents its characters is so charming and fun and very easy to get into, despite the fact that it would have really deep lore if you looked into it. Like basically like Star Wars, but I think it's even like peppier than Star Wars. Like has more humor and stuff. But I've always just fallen asleep when watching that first movie. Anyways,
I also always fall asleep when watching The Fellowship of the Ring. But you know what? I don't fall asleep while watching Total Drama Island. Yeah, exactly.
We get these beautiful.
It's engaging.
30-minute episodes. We got drama. We got fart jokes. We actually, it is animated. That's a plus. Unfortunately, we don't have any more fart jokes with Ripper being gone. But it's all right.
And Chris was talking about how they were not supposed to do stuff that was as gross, so they needed a chill challenge.
Did you see the Ripper TikTok edit I sent you?
I didn't. I was too scared that I would get hit with the total drama algorithm.
True. I think I think that just showed up on my feed like without any other total drama things showing up that did. But anyways, I don't know.
They'll get you. They know how to get you. I don't know how.
For sure.
Like I'll just like go online and I'll see one of Abe's TikToks.
I'm getting non-stop Spider-Verse stuff now, which is why I like made sure to see that movie as soon as possible.
Speaking of Spider-Verse, Auntie May was in this episode.
Yeah, they did. Who said it?
We freaked out.
We were like, because relative to when we're recording this, Across the Spider-Verse is like a week old. So before we started recording, we were like kind of praising the movie as one does. And
as one does. Anyone who's seen the movie.
Probably very intentionally made a Spider-Man reference by saying Auntie May, which is like, that's a funny coincidence.
It's just funny, yeah, that it lined up, especially because I saw it again last night.
Oh.
Yeah. Dates exactly when this podcast is.
I mean, I'm going to have to, like, with Elemental coming out, and I also want to see Indiana Jones, even though apparently it's not good, like, I'm going to go to the movies several times in the next few weeks.
Yeah, June's a good month for movies, if you like the big stuff.
And then Pikmin 4 comes out next month, but we don't. By the time these podcasts are coming out, Pikmin 4 is probably 4 months old. Who knows?
Yeah, you're gonna go to my Twitter account, and I'm gonna be like, "This is the most disappointing game I've ever played."
No, don't even say that.
I'm kidding. I was looking at the pre-order bonuses this morning and trying to figure out like if anybody near me is gonna have any of these. Like, apparently Europe's getting a phone stand. I want that. I want the phone stand.
No, I already have it pre-ordered digitally because I use like Nintendo's online voucher things to get that in Kirby.
See, that's smart, but I'm not smart. I see little Pikmin things.
Well, it's not smart because I want the water bottle from Walmart. I have crappy. I have Pikmin 3 coasters from My Nintendo.
Oh, wow.
All right, we should talk about Total
Yeah, anyway, Total Drama Island. I really did think that the challenge was going to be, like, breezy. Like, it kind of played up how much, like, oh, Chris is so evil, he's going to make it hurt. And I really thought that he was going to be like, no, they deserve, like, an easy one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the stuff in it wasn't really out there, but it would be a cool subversion to have there be a challenge that's actually easy, and it's only hard because either everybody is afraid of something happening or just because
that's what I thought this was going
hates
to be.
Each other so much.
Yeah, because especially like when Chef was like, oh, this isn't going to be easy, is it? And he's like, of course it's not going to be easy. I really thought he was building up like, oh no, yeah, I didn't really feel like trying on this one. The next one's going to be really brutal, but that was so much effort that I just thought that maybe this week we can just relax. But no, just an alligator.
I really like that when Chris and Chef were hanging out together, one of them was drinking a unicorn frappe for like a few of the shots. It was just on the desk, but then it went away in later shots. I don't know.
Because he finished it.
They shared it together with 2 straws at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah. That's how it got completely drank so fast.
Also, I was just thinking about Chris's voice actor in this episode. It just kind of finally hit me that like it's a different guy, but the way he like his tone, the way he says everything it's very on point with like how the original actor was.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I think this episode specifically, he did a good job.
Yeah. I don't think he's ever done a bad job, really, but it just, for whatever reason, like, when he was explaining this challenge and, like, pretending to be nice, I was like, this is Chris. Like, it's a different guy, but it's still Chris, and they'll put him in Fortnite later.
God, I hope. He can fight Optimus Prime.
The giant beehive volcano, that's a pretty, like, fun idea. I was
thinking the same thing. Like, it's a very cool visual.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very unique idea, honestly. Like, nothing else has ever done that.
They were like, we want to throw them into the volcano, but we can't have them burn alive, so what can we do? I also thought that the animation specifically, like when all the bees were like swarming around, it was very cool looking.
Yeah.
Like, it was very dynamic.
Yeah, that big, like, swarm animation was nice. And then like, when it was just, like, a cloud of bees hovering over people, it was just, like, a 2-frame, like, jittering thing, but, like, that still works really well.
There was also a specific shot where they were in the geyser field, where Julia, like, falls, and she's, like, what's the word? She's not, like, in the typical 3/4 total drama angle. Like, she's, like, laying flat, like, head to camera, feet away from camera, and it was very striking to me.
Like the Family Guy death pose.
Exactly like the Family Guy death pose, except less 3/4.
There was also... It was so small, but like during one of Chase's confessionals, he like crossed his arms really fast, and it like snapped. Like when there was like a clap effect when he hit his arm, and that was like I don't know, very noticeable to me, like very very unique. Like it was something that they haven't animated before. Like there was a clap sound, and then also like a very quick like comic booky like impact effect coming off of his head.
The Spider-Verse effect.
Exactly. They just watched it before re-uploading this episode online.
There's a confessional with Z where he was just talking, and then Chase like falls into the confessional, and I thought that was really cool. Like, it caught me really off guard, because like you go into the confessionals and you're like, oh, this is like the safe spot. We're gonna hear them talk for a brief moment, and then we're gonna go back. So having them interact was very neat.
And I like that Z kept having confessionals, and he was just like, why am I in here? How did I get in here?
Yeah. I really like the idea of having the confessionals follow them around. Like, they're in the geyser stuff, and he talks about it as if, like, there's a confessional right there, instead of having to walk all the way back to camp, and then all the way back.
Because it's kind of never made sense. So it's like,
never made sense, but, like, I don't care. It's fun. I like that idea. Yeah, I love all the strategy talk. Like, this is exactly kind of what I wanted from a total drama post me watching Survivor era.
I just liked all the way the characters acted. There's good amount of people getting the shit kicked out of them in this episode. Genuinely.
Yeah, I also really liked the amount of crossover between everyone. Like, there were lots of moments where they were all around instead of all being split
which is
off
definitely
into,
easier to do because there's less people now, too.
Well,
I
yes,
feel like
but
they really did take advantage of it and, like, had everybody interact pretty much.
I agree.
All right. Cool.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Go watch Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in theaters now, except it is probably not in theaters by the time this is released. Who knows?
Yeah, at the very end, they were all going to vote, and then Z said, nah, I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah, I was waiting for a chance to say that during the episode, but I couldn't think of a moment. Also, watch Clone High. That's a comparable, like, out of all like we talked about Lord of the Rings, we could talk about Clone High. And
more like Lord of the Millers.
Yeah.
Anyway, watch Clone High. New episodes too.
Yeah, new episodes on streaming now on Max, along with Total Drama Reloaded. We're back whenever they decide to actually.
Total Drama Reloaded. We're back 2023. Chris McClain.
Hashtag TDI spoilers. Hashtag Bowie sweep.
It's looking like it.
What's Bowie and Raj's ship name?
Raji.
Braj?
Baj.
yeah, that's better.